feel like Fnatic G2 is something that you can avoid. I think it's just the long-lived rivalry. I'm really happy there is a game like this.
Grinded every moment of my life for this, and you expect me to just call it quits? Not likely. Coming for the title at the top, you won't stop me.
I think G2 and Fnatic are always going to have that historic rivalry, regardless of how many players you swap, even taking Rekkles out of Fnatic, they still have their identity.
G2 is like that team. It used to be kicked down a peg. Fnatic's the right team to do it. We hit them when it hurt. It was just weird to go from like playing together with them for so long and then me not being there, both for me and for them.
I'm never gonna stop this. Be the ones to end this. Threatening, this will be a day of reckoning. This is our time. We are on the battle line. Listen to our war cry. G2 have found the fight. They found the kills. They have found their murderer. G2 wipe Fnatic out of the rift.
Wunder with the huge outplay in the 1 versus 2.
Jankos! Jankos, that is disgusting!
I feel like whenever Fnatic or G2 were on top, the other would be the one that would like get the best sucker punch in.
Even though like some people like trash talk or whatever right now because we failed, if we put in the work and we perform, then everyone will shut up and kind of accept, you know, that Fnatic is back.
Because the match is so hyped always, I think everyone just wants to show an extra good performance.
Down here onto Mikyx, upset just about dodging away with the cleanse is able to survive. Oh my god! There's no way you should be able to hit that!
Keep healing, you have it, you have it!
Hylissang there as well, look at the damage, it's Fnatic! They find the fight! G2 overstep, and Fnatic strike! It's 3 kills for Fnatic!
Another 2v2 kill of Upset and Hylissang.
The 1,000 Pierce Bear!
G2 versus Fnatic is inevitable. G2 versus Fnatic is unstoppable. And G2 versus Fnatic is forever.
Oh baby, match of the week time. We're getting our teeth into it. G2, Fnatic, LEC. You've heard that mixture before, and this is our iteration of week 3, day 2. Welcome back to the LEC studio for our final game of the day. An absolute banger, certified banger, guaranteed banger, machine guarantee. Watch it suck, watch it suck. Caedrel, I made a mistake.
It's just complete stomp.
What have I done? What have I done? Ender's joining us as well, and some people have been critical of me that I'm not looking as stylish as I did in our first day. I want to quickly get that out of the way. It's actually Ender's shirt, so that explains things.
Oh, okay, so you just use that as an excuse.
Okay, calm. Oh.
Oh, sorry, bro. I'm sorry. No, we actually can't have fun. We've got to, well, we can, but we have to focus on the League of Legends. That's the kind of fun I want to focus on, because we've been given the gift of the draft, gentlemen, and so I want to kind of set our expectations and manage them a little bit. We've already touched on LCK, LPL, the variants there. Are there any G2 Fnatic specific variants you're expecting?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think when you look at the top lane, especially Adam, you might see an Olaf come in. You might see a Kalista for upset. For Rekkles, it's very hard to tell because we even saw that Rekkles was kind of adapting into the summer split. He was not sure if he wanted to stick to, well, what he normally did was just pick comfort champions. Now he's going out of the box, playing things like the Jinx, the Tristana, the Varus. So it's hard to say what we'll get from bot lane specifically, but there's definitely some niche picks that these players do have. Bwipo obviously having things like the Viego jungle, maybe even a Rengar could come out.
Rengar?
He was a Rengar top player.
I wouldn't hate it. Ender, what's going on over in your camp when you've got your thinking cap on?
Honestly, well, I've been sort of thinking about how these teams like to draft and where they like to draft, like the power to fight. You know, we've talked a lot about Fnatic and especially their bot lanes. We got music all over the place. We want to get into the draft just as much as you guys. But typically Fnatic, they're putting a lot of power in fighting around the bottom lane. You know, Bwipo playing towards that lane. On the other side of things, Mikyx usually on more defensive supports, played a lot of the Thresh, the Tom Kench as well, the Braum too. But we did see last week Jankos spend time around that lane. So I know me and Caedrel have been talking a lot about how there could be a lot of action around that bottom lane.
Yeah, and I think if you just take Selfmade's interview just a couple minutes ago, just saying that he thinks that AP junglers, you can pretty much play anything. We've seen things like Rumble, we've seen Fiddlesticks, we've even seen Bwipo pick Karthus, Jankos playing Rumble, of course. So expecting AP junglers matched against each other if there's no Viego or Rengar or something crazy out of there, although we might see some Neesons. And then obviously the classic OPs of Viego, Gwen, Renekton, Sett, these kind of champions, Akali, Lucian, which are probably going to be banned away in the first three. We'll have to see how these teams kind of adapt into the draft, because I think the draft will be really important.
I haven't asked this question because I've been embarrassed to, but just quickly before we do dive in, why is Gwen such a highly contested pick?
This champion is just so strong in 1v1.
She's broken!
She's nuts. She's nuts in 1v1.
Yeah?
She's nuts on side lane. She's crazy good in fights. She can hit the front line and the back line at the same time with ultimate, so she's just naturally really powerful.
All right, let's rock and roll. It's time to get our match of the week champion select underway. Caedrel and Ender, please hold my hand as we step into this.
We definitely will, and I think when it comes to blue side, slightly more favored throughout the year because blue side can tend to target ban, whereas red side just naturally has to ban away OPs that are first picks, things like the Lucian and the Akali. So I have to see how both these teams approach the draft, because we also see things like Xin Zhao always banned away in Europe, which is kind of different to some regions. LCK, for example, doesn't prioritize Xin Zhao that highly, but in Europe we do, in the LPL similarly. So straight into it, Fnatic on blue side, G2 on the red side.
Yeah, especially that Xin Zhao for Jankos has looked super powerful. Typically when you're looking at things, Bwipo's playing a lot more of like the farming junglers. You know, he's played the Rumble a couple of times, even busted out the Karthus that one time as well, whereas fighting for Jankos, he will go to the Rumble, but he's put 2 games in on the Xin Zhao as well. Caps has also played a lot of these melee mid laners, so as far as the firepower goes for G2, a lot of the fighting options early can be around melee champions, the mid lane for Caps, if they want to go that direction with a fighting jungler for Jankos.
Oh yeah, definitely. G2 have a couple options here. Akali, Rumble could be the bans, Renekton as well. We'll see what they choose to ban away. It's going to be Akali, so Lucian is up and available for Fnatic. They could look to first pick that, but no, they go for the Xin Zhao to deny it from Jankos. We were talking about Xin Zhao just previously, so that's definitely been picked up there. And now we'll see what G2 want to adapt to. So many strong champions open right now, and what you want to do is get a really good balance of AP and AD. So for example, the Xin Zhao into the jungle, and AP mid would suit yourself very nicely. And then G2 can actually go for the Rumble, which is open, which you saw Jankos play.
Yeah, may see him go that direction. 2 of Rekkles' most played AD carries have been banned away in the Varus and the Tristana. The only other game he's played this split has been on the Jinx, so we'll see if that could be the direction, or we know Rekkles has a whole lot more champions in his pool. The Sivir's always a fun one, but probably not going to get that. The Viego does come through, and we've seen this flexed around from G2, both in the top lane and in the mid lane, but mostly has been Wunder this split.
Yeah, and with this many AD bans, you might think that the Ezreal Kalista could be really high prior. Wow, there's the instant Viego Nocturne from G2, so I'm guaranteeing that on third pick, they're probably going to go for Rumble or Diana here to make sure they have enough AP. Kai'Sa, Kalista, Ezreal, the AD carries we're looking at here on the side of Fnatic. I would say more towards Kalista if you're playing something like Xin Zhao, but then again into Nocturne could be a little bit rough, but the shield bow helps out a little bit there. Ezreal obviously can self-heal. We'll have to see what they opt into, but you can either match solo lanes here or go for full bot lane. With the Xin Zhao, AP laner would be very nice. Renekton still up and available. That's been picked up, and I expect some kind of mage here for Nisqy if they round out their top side.
Yep, Renekton, of course, gives them strong fighting around the top side. May end up just forgetting about that mid lane as they do lock in the Kalista. So, look, we've got a top laner that you can play around. We've also got a bot lane you can play around for Fnatic. Usually, again, are going to be sending a whole lot of pressure towards that side of the map. The Renekton could just be a pick here to try and nullify, I think, a lot of what a Viego can try to do within the laning phase.
Yeah, and the Renekton's a flex. Can go mid, can go top. You expect some kind of mage to come out in the mid lane, though, and it's probably going top that Renekton. But there's the Rumble. We were talking about an AP jungler on 3 is kind of what G2 need at this point. The only problem I see for G2 now in the draft is Varus is banned, Tristana's banned, Kalista's picked away. I think Fnatic should look to target AD a little bit more. Maybe an Ashe ban could be really good. I think Ashe, Rumble, Nocturne could be quite deadly for the side of G2, especially in lane phase against Kalista if the enemy team has a counter pick on support. So G2, maybe you want to ban away some of the supports that go well with the Kalista, because I think targeting the mages like Orianna and such is good and dandy, but I think there's a lot available for Nisqy.
Yeah, there's definitely so much you can work for, and like you said, the Renekton in theory could still end up dropping into the mid lane there too. So yeah, we're gonna get a Braum banned away. This is something that Hylissang has played twice. Both supports have liked it so far during this split, and then perhaps an Alistar, a Nautilus. That's sort of the direction we look to ban away. Fnatic, interestingly, taking the Senna off the board, which I think we've seen as an answer. Like when you have a lot of melee champions on your team and what you lack is range, Senna Tahm Kench is a 4-5 pick. Can be very, very effective, especially when you see a Kalista on the other side. So I like that Fnatic are removing that one.
Yeah, could decide to take away the Tahm Kench as well if you're Fnatic. That means that the last pick, Tahm Kench, just kind of gets negated if you're trying to play something like Kalista Alistar, Kalista Nautilus, because G2 might want to go for the Jinx here. Rekkles played it yesterday. Obviously, they lost the game, but yeah, the decent performance on it regardless. Did lose lane, you have to say, but Jinx is more of a scaling pick. Nautilus is going to be taken away, so maybe that's to deny some kind of Kai'Sa Nautilus picks here. And now if you're looking at melee supports, you're looking at Leona, you're looking at Alistar, you're looking at Rell as the three main options. And G2, they need to figure out what AD they want to go for here. Kai'Sa obviously can dive in with the team. Ashe would provide more follow-up engage. Ezreal self-healing. Jhin has the curtain call when the Rumble and the Nocturne go in, so definitely helps out in fights. And one of Rekkles' bread and butter champions.
He's doing it.
Yeah, Rekkles has definitely loved that one in the past. What's he gonna do? He can switch it up. It will be the Jhin at the end of all. And I feel like Jhin plus Rumble has been a combination that we've seen like here and there in professional play for like 6+ years, you know, going back way back in the day where it's like, oh, the soft engage, long range, you know, slow poke compositions. Jhin plus Rumble can start off fights from a long way away. You have the Nocturne there as well to try and close the gap onto something like the Kalista. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, we still have a bunch of melee champions on both sides. I think Sylas is going to be one that loves to get in the face of everything that G2 has and start fighting, get that sustain working.
Yeah.
What's quick question, real dumb one, I'm going to throw it at you. What's Sylas' damage profile like? Is it purely AD? Purely AP?
Purely AP. He's going to be the only AP damage on the team, and that's going to be facilitated by the fact that he has lots of AD damage around him to force the enemy team to build armor. Then the Sylas can do a lot more damage.
At least I prefaced it with a dumb question.
You did indeed. I suppose, oh, that's a Taric pick coming out of Fnatic. So going for the Kalista Taric lane, very powerful. Obviously, the Taric will have a really strong ultimate up against the dive composition of G2. Now, G2 have to adapt because that's almost like a wild card pick in a sense here, because now G2 probably we're looking at some kind of melee support, but I think a melee support might struggle a little bit here. Rakan obviously can dodge away from the Taric stun, very mobile champion, and can follow up engage. I think that would be a pretty good pickup here for G2. And I think when you're looking at both these two comps holistically, there's just pure dive, pure fight, heavy skirmish. But that's a Pantheon.
Oh, let's give it even more. I love it. So we're adding some more globals into the mix for G2. They can play the sort of jump on you from a mile away type of game. And at the same time, this Taric pick for Hylissang I find super interesting because you can time that, you know, you see the paranoia go down. Oh, drop that for the fight. But it also leaves open a lot of room for mind games from G2, whether or not they actually want to end up committing, see if they can use specific ultimates, specific cooldowns, try and bait that out from Hylissang. So at the end of it all, I feel like Fnatic have some of the strongest fighting you can get just up front. Like all of their champions want to scrap you. The Taric is great at that as well. So in even fights, Fnatic look really, really insane, but G2 have that global advantage, that long range engage too, that Fnatic have to be wary about in side lanes.
That Pantheon pick is a bit odd to me because I think the Pantheon obviously can't tank the towers anymore because his E doesn't negate turret damage, and then up against Taric, I feel like you're going to get stunned every time you jump in. So I think Mikyx trying to go for more of a team-oriented play here to just play with the global, play with his laners, play with his solo lanes perhaps, because the lane phase might look a bit rough for them.
Well, it definitely looks like a unique draft. It doesn't match anything we've seen coming into the first 2 days of play.
Yeah, definitely very, very different bot lane drafts coming out here.
Mikyx on the Pantheon. All right, well, it does look like it's time to kick off our match of the week as G2 and Fnatic load onto the Rift.
Oh, baby! What a draft! What a game this is going to be. There are two, count them, two champions that are ranged in this game. And I will tell you right now, melee champions, they don't clear waves well. They don't siege well. They fight well.
Oh, yes, they do.
They fight.
We have entered the arena, Daniel Drakos. You know, you just explained the entire plot of Bloodborne.
I did.
And I am rewriting it to say that now this is what will decide who will ascend. Daniel Drakos.
To godhood.
Who shall ascend to godhood? Because
and become a tiny slug.
We have longed for his violence, and I'm sure we shall get it in this matchup. So let's have a look at this quick level 1. Upset in Hylissang, doing a bit of a delayed invade. Mikyx on the Pantheon support. We'll end up spawning him out. So because we have no violence, let's talk a little bit about this Pantheon support. Drakos, you were a little aware of this. coming into draft. You told me that he's been playing this in solo queue, and he will usually go for the early lethality. But basically, this is all about killing in lane, right?
Absolutely.
That's what this is about.
It's interesting because when you look at his solo queue history, he's picked it into things like the Pyke, which obviously a good matchup because you can stop his engages. The Pantheon, he's very strong. Now against the Taric, I'm curious how it's going to play out because Taric, historically pretty good in melee fights. He's got the stun, he's got the sustained healing, but we'll see how it works. I think, interestingly, Vedius, well, we're going to find out how the Pantheon works. The other half of the matchup is also interesting because Rekkles' Jhin last season was pretty good. I think it's safe to say if you look at that 15.9 KDA. And if this guy gets ahead against a Kalista, it's going to be so hard for Upset and Hylissang to come back. Because now, quick engage, quick stun traded back. Whoa. Upset taking so much damage in that one.
Whoa! Oh, that looked like it hurt. Wow, so there's the power of the Pantheon. Now, what I wanted to say was, you talked about it into the matchup of Taric. I don't think he picked it with the Taric in mind. I think he picked it with the AD carry in mind, and he's saying, listen, I'm going to lock up this Kalista, and think about the chain CC that this combo specifically has. The stun from the Pantheon W into the W from the Jhin means that the crowd control duration is strong, the CC duration is powerful, you add the press, the attack damage on top of that, like, it's such a deadly and terrifying lane. It's all about stopping this Kalista from snowballing, so they gave Upset his comfort pick, but they're not going to let him get away with it, and definitely not going to let him get unscathed out of this matchup. Now, as a result of this very volatile bot lane, we can see the Jankos' path towards bot. He has cleared his red, his raptors, and has made his way down bot. Ooh, flash comes out from Rekkles. That small window where Mikyx went up to clear a ward. Upset and Hylissang wanted to try and use that opportunity. They threw the exhaust down in exchange, but Upset and Hylissang, they're going to be zoned away from this tower. Caps gets prio in mid, making his way down towards bot as well, but the Jhin is sure to follow.
Up in the area, he's got double buffs. We'll spot Caps out. Nisqy in the area, Wunder having to back off on the top side. Adam with a level advantage, Conqueror proc will walk away. Now, this game is already very tense. You add the nameplates in, it gets even tenser because the last time these two teams played, Vedius, remember that it was all about snowballing. It was Jankos on the Olaf, Bwipo tried out Yone top back when he was a top laner. It did not work, but the game exploded very early, very big goal leads for G2, and massive, massive trades across the entire map.
Yep. Of course, Bwipo was a top laner back then. He is now in the jungle, and the whole dynamic has changed with the introduction of Adam. And yeah, the last time they met, I mean, every time they meet, it's always very volatile. Let's not forget the Bwipo volley bear game onto Rekkles, where he made that infamous quote. I broke Rekkles' neck.
Woo! Graphic.
Yep.
But again, when you see the compositions, that amount of graphic violence description might make sense to you because, again, these are compositions that are going to fight and they're going to snowball. And when one gets ahead, it's going to be very, very hard for the other team to do a lot to respond.
Now, the reason why I think we saw the Taric is in a similar reason as to why we saw the Braum earlier, but hang on. Flash from Wunder. Bwipo made his way top, playing through the Renekton lane. I think it's smart from him, trying to get Adam a little bit ahead, especially in this Viego match, which you know is going to scale well into the late game. But I think that this Taric acts in the same disengage tool that works well into dive champions. The thing is, there is that delay. Can you survive the initial engage long enough to allow the ultimate to then land and come through, and then you could perhaps swing the team fight back in your favor? We'll have to wait and see, because I think that this Taric pick is not something we commonly see for Hylissang, but we know pairs very well with the Kalista in the 2 versus 2 especially.
And certainly with the Jhin Zhao as well, and we talk so often about the Hylissang-Bwipo duo and what they can get done. And I think when we talk about these teams, it's easy to talk about the people who are going to do the damage, the people who are going to have these big flashy team fights. You can ignore that. That's not going to be a problem, the disconnect message there. But I think the supports at the end of the day are more often than not the catalyst for action. And Hylissang certainly can be when he's able to stick that stun on someone else, pair up, and Mikyx in the other end has to fight, has to keep fighting, because Pantheon is not a scaling pick here. He goes in, and he maybe dies, but hopefully he takes someone with him.
He certainly does, and I think what's really interesting is when you look at the stats, you can see jungle proximity, Mikyx is first. He is spending so much time with his jungler, but his dual proximity is 11th. He is at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to actually spending time with Rekkles, and he's on a roaming champion like Pantheon. When he gets the ultimate, he's going to be unlocked. Hylissang spends a little bit more time with Upset, which makes sense when you think about their playstyle. They're all about the 2v2 dominance, building advantages in their lane, and also Fnatic invest resources towards the bot side of the map. That's not always true for G2, and already you can see Mikyx, Jankos, the power duo, grouping up once again, looking for an opportunity somewhere on the map, seeing if they can find a potential pick, maybe in the mid lane, but Caps also being unlocked on this Nocturne, has his eyes set on top lane, and the pings are coming through. Fnatic are saying, careful, careful. Caps is on the roam. He has the Nocturne. He's looking for something. Adam, you're the one most likely in danger right now.
And while top lane is even for now, a quick dive could turn things again. Stun connecting from Wunder and a bit of poke back as Adam just starts to trade. Jankos can come into the area here, but without the equalizer, it's going to be hard for them to really force anything, especially without fully committing to the dive. That said, Dominus is off cooldown, so Adam just forced to back away for now. Jankos in the area going to stop him from picking up this wave.
Ooh, Caps and Jankos are tunneling on this kill for Adam. He's going to be able to disengage as we see the rotation into mid lane. There's that combo that we were talking about in the laning phase from Rekkles and Mikyx. But notice how they rotated from bot into mid. They knew that Caps was on the roam, and rather than run the risk of getting dived and zoned away from farm in the bot lane, they just rotated them into mid. And now the TP is going to come back out in bot lane. Caps is going to be able to get some CS. And ultimately, all of G2 is still staying relatively healthy in the farm department. Not much is going to be lost off the back of that. I like that adaptation and that movement that we just saw from G2.
And while Upset got a bit of solo XP, a bit of gold, he might have even gotten a plate, G2 simultaneously zoned 2 different players off of their waves for a decent amount of time. That's difficult. And you can already see 1K gold lead for G2 with no blood being spilled whatsoever. Wunder starting to pull ahead, and now it's going to be Hylissang in trouble from downtown. He's locked up. The flash into safety. Exhaust coming in. Stun coming in, but the spell shield is there. Bwipo needs to get out of this one. He has to be careful. Backing away. Nisqy in the area. Maybe they can try and turn and burn here. Trying to lock up Caps, but a clean sidestep means Caps makes it out of that one for now. Nisqy has the Pantheon up, but is forced to flash away to safety. Bwipo goes down, and already G2 off to a massive lead as Adam sees his opportunity. Looks for his time to fully commit to this one. If he can get a kill back, maybe it's something favorable for Fnatic. But Wunder now running the flash forward from Adam, but he's just getting burned down. Adam has to fight Jankos. Can he turn on this one? No, Jankos fires back.
And blood has finally been spilt 8 minutes into the game, and it is G2 that come out on top. But look at the gold, 2.5K already in their favor. And a lot of it is coming off the back of Mikyx. Roaming once again, but now Upset wants vengeance.
Engage, Pantheon stunned up. He doesn't have enough time to use the E. Yes, he does, just barely in time. But Upset holds onto the Ren smartly. It's the TP now coming in. It's Hylissang who's been locked up. Upset has to run. He's already used the ultimate. Hylissang set to fall now. Wunder, he can step forward, but it's just
Can he get the stun?
Taric. Walking in, just going to focus on the creeps. Upset should be able to walk away, going to dodge out on the 4-shot too, and it's just a rapid pace of game.
Wow, okay, so G2 continue to hold the kill lead for now. I like that aggression from Upset and Hylissang. They recognized that Mikyx didn't have flash. They could punish him in the 2 versus 2, and they are able to get themselves a kill, but it costs Wunder his TP. Adam could not follow out on that play. And they end up falling short once again. 2.2K, a lot of things to break down, but I don't think we're going to have time to really go back because now another fight is breaking out around the Herald. Mikyx has made his way across once again. Numbers advantage in favor of G2, and Bwipo is going to be forced to disengage.
Nisqy just doesn't really have any items under his belt. The base damages alone of the Pantheon and the Nocturne make it so hard for him to walk into the area. Chain CC present as well. That said, the man consistently left on his lonesome here on the bottom side is Rekkles, left to clear these waves, and Hylissang and Upset already used all their major playmaking tools on the bottom side, so he's comfortable sitting there solo for now.
I like this early itemization from Caps as well. Getting the anti-healing against Sylas, very powerful in the 1v1. Caps actually W's the Bwipo W there to prevent him from actually getting that engage. Smart choice to actually prevent any potential follow-up, but Mikyx, of course, in the mid lane. Once again, we talked about it. He is a roaming machine this split, especially on the Pantheon. He's going to look to continue doing that. He does have his ulti up, ready to go. What's he going to go back and buy? What will that first item be? Oh, looks like he doesn't quite have enough money for it yet. Instead, he's just going to replenish that vision sitting in his stockpile.
And Vedius, at this stage of the game, 10 minutes in, it's a 2K gold lead for G2. Credit to G2 for coming back from what was a very, very one-sided defeat against Vitality. Yes, it was only 2K down, but you saw in those team fights how impossible it was for G2 to play. Now, it's a different draft, it's a different game, it's a different opponent, but the fact that they've turned it around so rapidly in a single day's time is, I think, credit to the coaching staff and credit to the players to recover so cleanly.
I think as players, G2 have always had a pretty strong mentality and confidence in their abilities and their ability to bounce back. I think the draft was a big issue for them yesterday, and I think that they've gotten themselves something that can actually match Fnatic in the early game, and I think also scales quite well. When playing against so many squishy champions, I think Jhin always has so much more value, but this Viego I think is going to be a terror, especially if he can get those resets going.
Certainly is.
The first
stun
row
now comes out. Stolen Nocturne alt. Nisqy is now going forward on the Caps. Bwipo in the area, forcing him away from the Mountain Drake. Now Jankos is already walking down. Jankos opted not to finish the Herald. He had some isolated time there, but instead now going to contest this Drake. Ultimate already used, and Jankos going to win the Smite fight now. It's Rekkles from downtown, laying down a bit of damage. Caps throwing down the ultimate just to go nearsighted. Taric's ulti, it's going to be too little too late. Hylissang just barely getting taken down there, but Mikyx has to run for the hills. There's no way he makes it out. Fnatic will get at least one back. He just throws down a Q onto Upset.
Mikyx may give up his life, but it is definitely a worthwhile trade for G2. They get themselves 2 kills for 1. They get themselves the first strike of the game. And Fnatic, with a composition that is all about early aggression, one that wants to skirmish, wants to fight, wants to try and snowball, G2 are getting the better end of these deals. Beautiful stuff from G2 here in the early game.
And it's just so I mean, G2 are pulling ahead again. It's a 2K gold lead. Yes, they're able to steal away the Drake, but you can see Upset has 2 kills under his belt. He's getting stronger, and this entire exchange so very close.
So initially, I got baited because I thought that this was Nocturne's ultimate, and then Sylas, of course, stole it away. But then Caps goes to the re-engage. I like what Fnatic do here, collapsing onto Caps, very squishy in this early game, but he flashes out. And then Jankos, along with the Jhin ult, along with the fact that Mikyx gets here first with the ultimate too. So important, because when the Fnatic bot lane have this sort of prio, you expect them to be able to collapse first, but Mikyx utilizing his ultimate to actually cut in front of them allows G2 to actually come out ahead in that skirmish. So good awareness there from Mikyx, and G2 end up coming out on top overall.
Oh, and excuse me, I said Hylissang went down. It was Bwipo who went down in that fight. Hylissang having the ult for himself was obviously fine in the end, but that said, 3K, 2,500 gold. G2 feels like slowly pulling ahead overall. Now, no mythic items completed yet across the board, despite how much fighting there has been. It's 12 minutes now. You have to feel that so many players are very, very close to those completions, and it will matter in the fights to come. But is Herald getting burned down at just the right time? They have to use it very rapidly if they want to get some tower plates, but as long as they do, that's going to be about 300 gold as a minimum over in favor of G2.
I just find it so funny how Mikyx is basically just a second jungler this game. Like he hasn't even looked at Rekkles' lane. Look, Rekkles is just sitting in that tri-bush right now because he doesn't know where the bot lane is. He's got a little bit of information, of course, because he does have that ward inside the lane, and there is a TP for Caps coming up soon, so he's probably going to feel a little bit more comfortable, but he is playing the weak side right now. You know, and you don't commonly see that from AD carries, especially in this meta, but it just goes to show the consistency that you often expect from Rekkles and kind of what he was brought into this team to provide, that level of consistency in the bot lane. And I think that obviously he won MVP last split, and I think so far this split he really has been that kind of shining, consistent performer for the G2 squad and why they have the scoreline that they do.
And I think ultimately, for Rekkles as a player, historically on Fnatic, on G2, he's often been very comfortable being the player who doesn't need to be played for, can sit silently on the sipper and scale into the late game. And for G2, who have so many playmakers, so many people who are willing to go in, good to see Rekkles kind of fit into a role that allows the rest of the team to step forward, even on a new lineup, even on a new team. And Fnatic now, we have to see how they respond, what they can do to set up across the map.
Of course, Upset no slouch himself. Kalista sitting at 2-0-0, even in gold against Rekkles, has the Hail of Blades, and is doing very well in lane. And just statistically, you can see in the early game, Upset does very well. You can see his damage per minute a little bit higher. That is because he is a little bit more of the main focus for this Fnatic squad in terms of resources. When you kind of look at jungle proximity, it's interesting how Rekkles actually has higher jungle attention, or at least he spends more time with his jungler than Upset does. And I think that's a little bit because Rekkles roams a little bit more than Upset does, whereas Fnatic tends to play towards the bot side of the map a little bit more often.
And we've also had games like this game where Jankos has spent a decent amount of time on the bot lane being ready to make these big plays, threatening the dive. You've also got games like the one that they played earlier where they were able to just chain gank bot lane over again. The game against Rogue where they lost the 2v2 kill, but Jankos kept coming bottom again to punish them for winning lane, essentially. That said, Rekkles now could be in trouble. Playing weak side does mean that he has to flash away. No chance for them to respond as he's still back in the base. He and Jankos clearly looking to get out on the map, but it might cost them a little bit. Good news is no tower plates left, so Upset's not going to get a huge influx of gold here. Just another pressure point on the map.
It's a good roam from Caps, pushes in the midway very quickly. He knows enemy junglers on the top side because the blue buff has just been handed over to Nisqy, and that means that Mickey's on his way as well. Double globals. Okay, but they're not going to commit for it. I think the idea was promising, but I think the awareness comes out that both Upset and Hylissang were basing. But it was just that good awareness, you know, Cap sees the blue, recently picked up for Nisqy. He's like, okay, jungler's probably top side, which means that there's a really good opportunity here. But then Upset and Hylissang obviously respecting that themselves and going for that base.
And if they had committed for the dive, very easy for the Nocturne to show up, very easy for the Pantheon to show up. And one thing about these compositions is that while Fnatic certainly have a lot of team fighting tools with the Taric ultimate, the semi-globals very much favor the side of G2. You've got a Pantheon ult and a Nocturne ult to show up. If Fnatic overcommit to a single fight, it will cost them very dearly.
And Jankos' ultimate is so long range, you could basically call it a global.
It's a screen away. That's big. Tahm Kench W counts, and that's so short range these days.
True, very, very true. let's have a look. Cap's going to land the fear onto Nisqy, but Fnatic right now maintain control over the bot river. Wunder sitting top, so G2 at the numbers disadvantage for the time being, but G2 are quite happy to play this, I feel, because they know that that top tower is going down. Cap's going to face check.
Bwipo now stepping forward, but he's going to get locked up. Crescent Guard means he has a lot of room to work with. Adam now stepping forward. Cap's using the ultimate just to block a little bit of sight, but Nisqy can respond in kind as Adam dashing through the entire team. That is one powerful Renekton, and he's about to be invulnerable. Bwipo now ready for the dive. They're flashing forward. They're ready to take down Rekkles. Oh, hand delivered. Rekkles goes down. Jankos now knocked up. He's running for his life, but Fnatic are not done. They smell blood in the water, and they're looking for a little bit more. Adam fully committing. Cap's now going in, but they get nothing back in return. It's so clean from Fnatic.
That is a 5-0 in favor of Fnatic, and just like that, they flip the game on its head. Beautifully executed from the Fnatic squad. G2 torn apart.
And that's the power of the Taric. That's the power of so many threats that can dive over and over and over again. Yes, Capital's ultimate is strong, but if Renekton and his Zhao are going to stick to you, you're not going to win out in the long run. That said, Mikyx stepping in. Won't catch the backs here, and G2 going to be in a tough spot there. It's only a 1K difference, but we look back at this fight and just a flawless execution from Fnatic.
So the first thing we notice is, of course, that G2 have the numbers disadvantage. Caps just drops the vision down, gets very close, very easy engage for Bwipo, and then Mikyx engages, and now he's kind of separated from his team. Jankos doesn't use anything just yet. Then the Rumble ultimate comes down, but the damage is already done. Meanwhile, the TP does come through. Viego in a 1v1 against Sylas. The Nisqy flashes away from the ultimate, is actually able to outplay, lands the stun, ends up getting the heal, ends up outplaying him. Remember, the upset's not even in this fight. I was talking so much about the numbers advantage, but they're actually even on numbers because they identified the upset was in the bot lane. Yet G2 still end up falling short. The power of the mid-game one-item spike. Look at those top three from Fnatic, doing so much damage, coming up clutch. But now G2 on the offensive once again.
Phenomenal. Equalizer now coming down. Rekkles trying to land a bit more poke with the fourth shot. 4 members of G2 on the bottom side, only the 2 of Fnatic for now. Hylissang on the way, upset on the way, but looks like they're going to back away. G2, are they fully going to commit for the dive here? Bwipo very vulnerable. They're just going to give him up there. Crescent Guard buys a bit of space, buys a bit of time, but that should be an easy kill pickup for the side of G2. Nisqy stepping forward. Everfrost, a bit more damage. Cap's now going to be in trouble. Tower still very much alive. G2 backing away, and it's a TP down to the bottom side. Adam is massive. He's already used the ultimate. He's ready. The double dash forward. Trying to stun, they're trying to walk away, but Adam, you should be able to clean house here. Double dash in, the fear, the stride breaker, it's everything you need. Just getting absolutely one shot. Adam now on a killing spree. Wunder on the backside, but it's too little. He's just too late to the fight. Fnatic continuing to press their advantage.
And Fnatic, every time they see aggression from G2, they respond in kind. Very strong TP coming out from Adam to cut off the escape route from G2. After killing Bwipo, he's able to get vengeance, but now Wunder wants a little bit of a fight for himself. Good damage onto Adam. Mikyx is there as well.
Backing off. Wunder forced to back out as soon as he sees Hylissang come in, mount up on the stun, ready to continue further. And again, after all of this fighting, it is a tower in favor of Fnatic, and it is 700 gold. The game is still dead even.
Nisqy doing so much work on this Sylas as well. His damage definitely cannot be ignored. The fact that he was able to find that 1v1 against Wunder is huge for him as well, especially as he as a player has received so much criticism ever since he joined Fnatic. Being able to get a big win here could mean a lot. Bwipo, once again, looking for fighting.
Still stepping forward, that's a knockup. Crescent Guard goes back, a bit of a disconnect there. Mikyx in the area, Bwipo now trying to fully commit onto Caps. He goes golden for a brief moment. Does he have the Kingslayer? The stun going to come out. The dash back in. The snare going in. He's got the healing. Mikyx now going to be in trouble. That's the finish off, but Mikyx grabs one back. Bwipo now going to get locked in from downtown by Rekkles. He turns. He burns Mikyx with the double.
What? Wow. Okay, so to be fair, Fnatic, they were fighting in a 2 versus 3, and then the Jhin W comes through. So it's a 4 versus 2, and they still nearly kill everyone. So huge props to Nisqy and Bwipo there, but they end up falling short. Mikyx with the damage on this lethality Pantheon. Let's have a look back at this. So the initial engage comes out to Jankos. They're thinking, hey, we can take this 2 versus 2, but then the Pantheon ultimate is going to come through. And while the Rumble ultimate doesn't do a huge amount of damage, its Cap's just kind of pretty squishy this early on into the game. It's not until you really get the Starax that you do a lot of damage. Good sidestep there from Nisqy to avoid the Q as well, but then Mikyx gets a little bit of health back.
And a flawless snare from Rekkles keeps him out of auto attack range to finish the job. A game of inches, and again, these are the kind of plays you're used to in G2 versus Fnatic. Now, if you're just joining us, and I don't know how that would be possible, because you should have seen at least one G2 for Fnatic. It's important to note, never mind, we don't have time. Anyway, fight going down to the bottom, Caps fully committing now. It's important to note that Adam is incredibly strong. The execute from Viego might be enough, but still trying to get more damage down. Adam double dashing through, Caps so incredibly squishy. Adam finishing off one kill now. It's going to be Wunder who's in trouble. Adam taken out as Mikyx comes in just in time. Rekkles from downtown with the curtain call makes it easy.
Caps is just too squishy this early on into the game. Adam, he knows that he gets so much healing from the Q fighting two members at once, and he's able to at least trade 1 for 1. That's really the best thing he could have done in a situation like that. You can see the levels on your screen right now. Not entirely accurate. Regardless,
Each player was rating the play individually out of 11. A lot of people were a fan, a lot of people not so much.
Yeah, both sides saying, oh, good stuff. But I think Fnatic's going to be a little happier because Mikyx got the shutdown. 800 gold went into his back pocket rather than Wunder's. So even though Wunder is strong, he would have loved getting all that additional gold. And Mikyx has a shutdown himself. Let's see if Bwipo can find a fight.
Bwipo going forward, forcing the flash up from Jankos. That's going to be big. So using the ultimate, Hylissang pushing forward, but they're going to be forced to back away. Have to still be careful. Mikyx can obviously leap in and then protect himself. Hard for him to get out if he commits too far, but easy for him to survive for a little bit of time with the Pantheon E.
Items being completed for upset. It's now finished 2. The armor boots also coming through. Armor boots across the board. You talked about melee champions. A lot of value. A lot of value.
Certainly.
For both sides in this game.
And you can see Rekkles already building towards Laure Dominic's. Maybe Sorella's Grudge, but certainly building towards an armor penetration item with the Last Whisper. Has to get through a lot of the defensive stats that have been built up as Bwipo now goes in onto Mikyx. Mikyx forced to flash out again. Second flash that Bwipo has gotten for free. Small advantages continuing to go in favor of Fnatic. Gold slightly in favor of G2, but Fnatic with priority access to the Drake and the pit.
Oh, okay. So I thought for a second that no Drakes had been taken, but that's definitely not true. I think this is our 3rd Drake of the game, must be, because it is the Ocean and it's the Ocean Rift, yeah. And that's going to go in favor of Fnatic. I believe that after the fight that happened in the mid, the clean ace they were able to get in the mid lane, that is also going to be their 2nd Drake of the game as well. But G2 are looking to cross-map that in the top side. Nisqy now level 14. Caps is a really interesting player, largely because I think that he hasn't had the best split so far, and he is struggling a little bit in this game because of how far behind he is. He really needs that Sterax completed in order to really be able to soak up the damage that he needs to on the Nocturne when diving into so much of these fights. I'd like to see him move off into a side lane, soak up a little bit more farm as the ultimate comes through from Nisqy.
Nisqy now going in, fully committing to Mikyx. The stun coming through, Hylissang as well. It's flawlessly timed. Mikyx can't even push Aegis Assault. Shutdown comes in. Fnatic can now turn their attention to the Baron if they want to, and they certainly do. Going through, they're not going to be spotted by the Scuttle Crab yet. Nisqy and Bwipo already starting this one up. Upset with the pseudo smite. Secure coming in from the Rend if he wants it. Jankos in the area has to be careful on these face checks. Adam waiting in the darkness. An equalizer, a flash, not available for Jankos. He needs to steal with the equalizer or he needs to find a way into a pit. 6K getting lower. Tension continues to mount. Upset stepping forward. Hylissang now in the midst of the entire team. Bwipo flashing over the wall. There's absolutely zero hesitation. Jankos completely cleaned up. But it's the curtain call from downtown. A brief moment of pause as the shots start to land. Adam there to body block. Caps, Wunder in the area, ready to go in again. They need to win this fight or they will lose the Baron. Fnatic not afraid to keep this one going. Wunder waiting in the darkness. Rekkles trying to stay his arm's distance away, trying to keep safe. Adam stepping forward, ready to double dash through into the backline if he needs to. 7K getting lower. Mikyx here as well. Fnatic are not scared of G2, but they might be scared of the Pantheon. That's going to be the ulti coming in. Taric ulti coming in as well. And they're in the midst of an invulnerable Fnatic. Fnatic have turned the fight back. G2 are getting nothing. Nisqy is going forward. He's got a stolen curtain call, but it won't do much use for him now. Wunder has to run to safety. Ulti out over the wall. Fnatic turning away from the Baron for a brief moment, but no. Bwipo keeps it leashed. Bwipo stays. Eyes on the prize. Fnatic take the Baron and the fight.
I thought that it was going to be a rogue situation all over again, that Fnatic were going to meet their demise at the hands of Wunder's Viego, but Hylissang's ultimate denied everything, preventing the all-in engage from G2, stopping it dead in its tracks. Fnatic, they get themselves the Baron, and they take control of the game 25 minutes in.
In a melee versus melee fight, this Taric ult is just so strong. Let's take a look at it again.
It is just so impactful. I just want to keep my eyes on Hylissang. He's going to use it. Adam zoning very well. Then the moment that the darkness comes through, he drops it. Notice how they all stack up. They get the ultimate, and all the damage is mitigated. No resets for Viego. Caps doesn't offer any damage. Rekkles can't clean up the fight at all. And it ends up being a one-sided affair for Fnatic. Now, with the Baron, they're looking to break into the base of G2.
2,500 gold lead. Fnatic have a cloud and an ocean. The overlay is wrong. Currently, G2 have the mountain, but all eyes on the Cloud Soul, going to be the next big thing. Or the next Baron, potentially. For now, Fnatic in the driver's seat. As mentioned, 3K gold lead. is it enough to break the base? Both of these compositions not good at sieging, not good at clearing waves. Really only Rekkles who can do it. They're trying to lock up Adam, they're trying to poke, but Wunder now going to be in trouble, has to flash away from the third strike. Coming in from Bwipo, and the TFT emo comes out. The man is confident. He knows that right now Fnatic are in control.
And this Taric is getting so much synergy off of so many different champions. Renekton, Zhao, a stolen Nocturne ultimate. It's so much easier for him to threaten that stun, force G2 members to flash away. And you talked about it, Drakos. It's a volatile game. Both sides have a lot of skirmishing power, a lot of early game, but I felt like with the Viego, maybe G2 had a little bit more late game insurance, especially with the Jhin too, but Upsets continue to farm up. Nisqy has so much control in the side lane. Getting that solo kill onto Wunder was so big for him. And now he's going to steal away the Rumble ultimate. The dive from Fnatic.
Flashing in, that's the Dominic's trying to get out from tower range. They're now coming in. It's Hylissang with the ultimate to make sure they're invulnerable. Wunder has to run for the hills. Meanwhile, Nisqy gets the spell shield. Caps trying to commit fully to the fight. Jankos ready to help turn it, but Hylissang right on top of Caps, right on top of the former teammate. That's the stun from downtown. Hylissang grabs it, and it's Bwipo and Upset in the midst of everyone, but the Kalista will not be stopped. Wunder gets a reset, but it is too little. It is too late. It was neck and neck for most of the game, but it will be Fnatic's win as they break into the base, as they ace G2, and they find their first win this year.
An absolute slaughter, and it all started with a huge ace in the mid lane. Fnatic, 4 members strong, looking to take the first game over G2 of this split.
Absolutely incredible from Fnatic. From start to finish, they held on while G2 found a lead. They turned it back in the fights, and they take the win.
Happy smiles across the faces of Fnatic. It was a quick one, and it often is when these two battle. I hope you were all entertained, because it certainly was an entertaining one. Constant skirmishing, constant fighting, and Fnatic with a clean game overall. Very well played by them. They did not suffer from the Mickey roams. They did not get punished in the early game. The globals coming out from G2 did not find much success. And one fight, one single fight, 5-0 is when Fnatic took control and snowballed the game.
That was an LPL Taric support. That was crazy. The way that they were able to make that work, the synergy was incredible to watch. Of course, Kia player of the game at LEC on Twitter, Adam, Nisqy, or Hilly.
Choices.
I'm inclined to go Hilly. I don't think there's a wrong choice here. Adam also, incredible from Adam. Remember, Adam's still a rookie on the stage. I forget it, because he's had so many pop-off games now. But
Renekton is kind of his bread and butter, though. This was his go-to champion. This was something that he found a lot of success on over in the LFL, and he doesn't get his hands on it very often, especially with how strong Renekton is in the current meta. But you can see what he's capable of doing on the champion, and I know the French are certainly going to be happy after seeing a performance like that, because Adam is definitely starting to find his form and is definitely starting to pop off alongside the rest of Fnatic. They had a tough week 1, but right now they haven't lost a game since those first 2 losses.
And again, the development, the rate at which they're developing, the fact that they've taken down G2 now, the fact that they took down Rogue, it's incredible. And I think it's exactly what Fnatic fans have been waiting for. Again, this is a team that was really disappointing when they dropped out in 5th in the spring playoffs.
Who would have thought Bwipo Jungle was the solution to Fnatic's problems?
I didn't even think Bwipo Jungle was an actual possibility in real life, let alone the solution to Fnatic problem. But it is an incredible game, and yes, G2 had their moments, G2 had a clear strategy, but ultimately, Taric's a really good champion. So is Renekton, it turns out, and Fnatic played it beautifully. We're certainly, of course, going to hear from Adam before Bwipo joins us in the LEC post-game lobby, so don't go anywhere. More League of Legends content coming your way.
Bwipo's going to say something spicy.
Systems are overloading. We can't risk another game.
We need to take a break and regroup.
We're starting to lose our mind. Captain, we cannot go back to Elo Hell. Last time it took us months to get out of it.
Initiate break protocol.
Hurry up! Yes! I did it! We did it! We did it!
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Welcome back to LEC Fnatic Takedown G2 in our match of the week. And what a game it was, Adam, what a game indeed. Thank you so much for joining me after this game. 5 wins in a row now for Fnatic, and last time we talked you just took down Rogue, now you just took down G2. So tell me, how have things been since the last time we spoke?
Well, the first time we spoke, so it was after
Rogue.
The first victory after Rogue. So yeah, I was thinking, you know, after we won against Rogue, I felt like this was a huge step we all made as a team, starting from 2 losses in a row and then winning against Rogue. I think it was something that we might have needed as a team, and now I think we are all on the same page, and it feels really, really good to play with the team. Like I like them so much, actually. Like, I'm so happy to play with them, and I hope this our win streak won't end now.
Yeah, 5 games, as I said. How strong do you feel right now, you as a player and as a team more generally?
As a player, I would say that I'm really feeling good. I think that I'm really performing well, individually at least. I'm feeling that I'm really comfortable with my level right now, and I'm really glad to have this level. I don't think that I'm my peak level, and of course I will still be improving, and I can't wait to improve even more. And as a team, as I said, after we won against Rogue, like this is, we all realized that we stepped up as a team, And of course, I think that we all want to go worlds, and honestly, I think that we should be able to go if we don't stop hard working and still be on the same page altogether.
It is a good start, at least. We'll come back to the World topic a bit later in the season, maybe. But I'm talking about your performance. I'm actually looking forward to seeing peak Adam, because the performance you had today was insane. The Renekton you played just gave me LFL vibes, actually. I think it's the last time I saw you being so dominant on the champion. And actually, the community saw it too, as they chose you as the key player of the game here. So tell me about this performance, Renekton in general, and also being able to play the champion again.
Well, Renekton is, it has always been a strong champ. So, of course, I'm really glad to be able to play him. Concerning my performance, well, I mean, I just played as usual, you know. Of course, I had a bit more stress because before entering LEC, I had like two matchups I wanted to do was like facing VoD of Fnatic, facing Wunder, because these are two top laners that I really respect a lot. And I'm really glad to have been able to play against them. And I can't wait also for the return matches. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I'm giving all my best, you know, doesn't matter the opponents. I'm trying to be the best as much as I can, every time I can too. And I'm just playing my game, I'm just me, and we all play as a team, and I'm really glad, sorry.
Yeah, and we can see the improvements, even from the time I knew you from the LFL to the LEC, which is also something we noticed as casters and team, because in the LFL, I feel like Syncroft was playing more towards top lane, which gave you maybe more freedom to do whatever you want. Whereas here with Fnatic, you see that Bwipo plays more for mid lane, maybe also bot lane, leaving you kind of on an island. So tell me about how you adapted in playstyle to fit your team's need right now.
Well, you see, of course, I agree with you. When I was in K-Corp, of course, our gameplay was a lot oriented topside, I would say. And of course, if I wanted to ever be able to perform in LEC, I had to learn too how to play without having all the time my jungler next to me, or my mid laner, my support. So of course, I mean, like we just decide to do what's the best for the team. Like, of course, Bwipo can come top. I can help bot. I can help mid. I mean, everyone is helping each other. So the difference, I would say, is because when I was in K-Corp, as I said, all of our games was like really topside domination, and now it's more bot side. Honestly talking. So, but like as I said, it's something I had to learn, and it's just, you know, as a team, like we all agree on that. We all agree on what we have to do, and so everything is going pretty well now. So what to say? Like, I'm really happy.
We're very impressed to see your progress so early in the season, Adam. Again, congrats on winning against G2 today, and good luck in the rest of the season. Thank you for the interview. Goodbye. And we're going to take one last break today, and we'll come back in a couple of minutes with PGL with Bwipo. See you soon.